Here we're going to do a little extra lighting demo exercise showing you a function of some of the lights. Not all of the lights do this, but a few of them in particular, the point light, can do a certain thing called glare or glow. And what that is what a light does in Maya is that it makes a light. It lights an object, but there's no physical object for a light. So if I were to render this real quickly right now, you can see that these lights in the background, they don't have any lights in them. But this light here, I have a few things going on. And one of the things I have is, and I'm going to just go in a little closer. Let's just go in and look and see actually what I have physically going on here is I have a point light inside of this lamp here, and I also have an additional spotlight with a fog effect coming down on it. And what that'll do is that'll give the kind of two effects. It'll give you what we're seeing is the physical light in here, not just the light lighting the background or lighting the lamp here, but just like what would be a physical object like a light bulb, and then some fog going out like that. So let's just go and do that right now. I'm going to go over here to this lamp that does not have any it doesn't have a light in it right now, so if we were to render it, it's not going to show up as anything. I've made the material of this transparent, a little bit transparent, not completely transparent, to give it a glass effect. So the first thing we're going to want to do is we're going to want to create a light, and the first light I'm going to create is a point light. That's going to come in at 0, 0 at the center of the grid, so we have to find it. So it's somewhere, let's just press the W, and there it is. It's hidden in the buildings. I'm just going to bring that out, and I'm going to bring it up inside the lamp. That was actually pretty easy. Usually it takes me a while to get the actual light object inside the lamp. So now let's just take a look and see. Let's do a quick render and see what it's doing. It's going to take a little longer now, but what it's doing is it's lighting this object here, this building. It's casting light. Now there's no shadows on it, so I have the light selected still, and I'm going to call it's point light 2, and we can rename this light. We can call it lamp light 2, so we know where it is, and if we need to find that, we have a name for it. And I'm going to open up its attributes, the camera attributes, and since we're doing a software render for this here, and it'll work with mental ray as well, I'm going to use depth map shadows here. Now if we were to take a look, if we were to do a render, oops, I don't want to do that. If I want to do a render now, it's going to cast some shadows, which is an effect that we want. So as you can see, it's a little darker, but it's not lighting the street as it was before. So now let's click out of that. Now with my point light already selected, I have some effects here. I'm going to open up this tab here, light effects, and I'm going to scroll down. I'm going to open this up a little bit, and there's a window in here called light glow. Go over here into this little checkerboard button, open that up, and this is going to give me some light glow attributes, and there's some different attributes that you can add. It defaults to linear. It's going to have star points, and it's going to have some different some different settings that we can go over. But let's just see what this one does. If we were to do a render, and you can see what it does. So it's making a physical light inside of the lamp there. Now I'm not crazy about those star points, so I'm going to take those off, and we can add a lens flare, but I'm not going to open that. I'm not going to check that. I'm going to open up the attributes right underneath there, glow attributes. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to give it a color. I'm going to give it more of a orangey, you know, just sort of a sodium light kind of color. Just give it some color. I'm also going to bring the intensity down. Let's try 0.5. Let's bring it down in half and let's see what that does. And that doesn't really do a heck of a lot. Let's bring it down to 0.2. That might be too much, but we will see in a second. And let's just see if it brings down that intensity a little bit. Yeah, it brings it down. I'm going to darken the glow color a bit more. And let's just kind of look and see what that will do. And you can see that the glow color is a little bit more orange. It's very subtle. Let's bring down the spread a little bit. And one thing I'm going to do an IPR render, so maybe this takes a little bit longer at first, but this is a good way to test out your settings. If you open up your IPR render, you drag on an area that you want to look at, and we can play with the intensity, play with the spread. Yeah, see, I'm playing with the spread here. It's bringing the glow out, and we can play with, you know, all of these other little settings and sliders here to get the effect that you want. You can also see that there, since it's having shadows, there's this slight shadow casting going on with the glow spread. So I'm going to bring it down to that. I'm also going to bring the intensity down just a little bit. And it looks like the glow color isn't really all that effective, even though I do want to make it somewhat darker. I don't want to have it too white. But that will give you some extra attributes there. But what that basically does is it gives you a physical light inside of this lamp here, in addition to actually lighting the objects around it. The other thing I want to show you, and I showed you this before, I'm going to create another light, and this light is going to be a spotlight. And I'm going to bring it out here. Let's move the attribute editor out of the way just for a second here. And I'm going to position my spotlight. Oops, sometimes it's a little, oops, grab the light. Sometimes it's really hard to grab what you want to get here. You have to, there we go. And I'm going to come up here. I'm going to rotate it down like that. -90 if you want to get precise over here. And I'm going to bring it right up here into the lamp itself. And then I'm going to open up its attributes with the spotlight. And if we go into some light effects here, you're going to see one called light fog. And we're going to press that. And what that does is it is going to add an indication of where the fog is going to actually hit. And let's just do a little test render here, and you can see what the effect is going to look like. So what this light is doing is casting sort of a volumetric light, as if there were particles in the air. One thing I want to do, I'm going to grab this light, I'm going to move this up like that. I'm also going to make sure that my shadows, I think I want to have depth map shadows, and let's see what we got here. Now, see, now if we were to put shadows on that, that is going to it's going to not make the fog go through the lamp. So if I took the shadows off and did a render, it's going to have this light effect. And then the other thing I do want to do is I'm going to extend that down like that. Let's do just another render like so. I'm going to have to dial this in a little bit to make it a little more. This is not quite right, but it's looking pretty good. It's looking pretty decent. I can also play with some of the other settings here. I can use decay regions, and that basically is what that does, is it adjusts the fall off. I'm not going to get too much into that right now, but you can also play with the drop off as well. You can either in the attributes or over here in your channel box, you have some settings here. Let's do an IPR render real quick. And let's just play around with some of these settings here. Let's first start with the pre-number angle. And I want to see what I'm doing here. Oops. Let's do that. I'm going to have to move stuff around a little bit just to make it so I can work. And oh, that's something else altogether. Let's go to cone angle. We're going to spread out our cone angle here. Make a pre-number angle 1 again. And let's do, we can play with the intensity. Bring the intensity up a little bit. Or down, depending on where you want to go. And then we can also play with the drop off. And it looks like the drop off is not really being, it is not affecting the cone angle. It's actually affecting the light that is being emitted from that cone light there. So these are just a few little simple fun lighting tricks that you can do to enhance your lighting very easily. Doesn't really take a lot of time or a lot of effort, and they're pretty simple.